I'm Coach Thomas Scott, and if you're listening or watching this podcast, it means one thing. You want to learn how to get buckets from the best in the world. This is the Hoopers Podcast. This is Buckets and Breakdowns.
And you gotta, recalibrate. You gotta readjust your thinking, man. If it's left, think right. Right, think left. Short, think long. You gotta constantly engage it. And then when you find it, that's what helps you in the game. When you miss 2 or 3, you give it back to me. You give it to me. I'm gonna take that same move and do it again, and I'm gonna keep doing it. And that builds, like I said, character. And that point where you miss your first 3 or 4, you thinking that next 7 or 8 are going in. Because you know what it feels like you've been there, and you're able to make those adjustments. I tell guys all the time, the person that makes the adjustment the quickest stay in the game the longest. So that all of that helps, and don't run from it. And so, I was doing it today, and I'm not afraid. They say statistically, before people are successful, on average, people fail 7 times before they succeed. So everything we started doing early, dribbling, it was rough. Now it's smoother. Shooting, you didn't make it when you first started. It's rough. So that process doesn't change. Just because you make it to the NBA don't mean you don't have those moments where you have your days but you have less of them. You're not missing as many, but you might have spots.
Right.
And then after you finish that spot, you go to that 2 more spots. You got to come back to if you had 3 spots you didn't do you didn't do good with, you come back and you do that again, or you make some shots and you make sure you leave on top. Don't leave knowing that you had 3 spots that were bad. Don't leave like that. Yeah. But that takes a mental conditioning and an attitude to get there, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. I felt like I was watching a master at work.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. I'm humbled by that.
We got a chance to see Mahmoud get some shots up, working on his handle, shots, ball handling to some shots and different things, and you were shooting till you got it right. When I saw something like that, it reminds me of other people I've been in the gym with and around. I've been around in the gym with Chris Paul or Kobe Bryant, right? And it's the same thing. Yeah. And so to me, I'm able to put that stuff together like, okay, this is something great to have in common. They're not going to leave until they get it right.
That's right.
Some people do, okay, I'm going to make 10 in this spot. I'll make 5 in this spot. No, we're going to do this until it's right.
Yeah.
And so I bring that up because I know you work with a lot of guys that are in the league that a lot of people don't know about. Can you break down some of the guys that you worked with one-on-one along the way that you've impacted their careers?
Yeah, I'd love to. But if I can, just to mention something you said, even that concept of doing it till you get right, what's right? Because there are levels. Is it enough just to make them? Because we talked about this before. Or you get to that point where now it's how I make them. It's the move before I made that shot. If it was rough, and even though I made the shot, I don't count it because I fumbled somewhere.
Right.
Every last piece of that move, and it's got to go in. So if it's a swish, it's got to be a swish. If I wanted to come back, all of them got to come back, or it don't count, even though it went in. Now that's when you get into precision shooting. That's why the Chris Pauls and those guys are where they are, because they keep going. But some of the guys that I've been blessed to work with in the league, many of them, but the current ones, like last summer in New York, I worked with Precious Achua. I've worked with Dennis Smith Jr., who's now having a new opportunity in Houston. Man, he made a lot of improvement, and he's just got to get into a situation where he can feel comfortable letting it go, because he was really making some shots with body on him. Because basketball is that way. You're not going. Most every shot you get is going to be on the move, or somebody's recovering, or ball, hand in your face. Emmanuel Quickly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the Knicks are doing right now.
Yeah. Who's having a great. So I really spent a lot of time with them this summer. But in the past, I've been blessed to work a little bit with Oladipo, Markelle Fultz, DJ Augustine, Farouk Aminu.
Right.
Those type guys, man. And it's just. At that level, we talked about it. Everybody looks good when they're fresh.
Right.
And then everybody has a certain level of skill, but on that level, they're looking more so for the details, because it's always in the details,
right,
which separate you, man. It's just trying to find things in their game that they can improve on, whether it's ball handling, footwork, ways to get your shot off and execute, passing, the importance of staying low. the importance of how you plant and how you explode. A lot of them are exploding heel to toe. Literally, you ain't gonna ever get an explosion. Everything's, on the balls of your feet. That's how you go right, left, stop on the dime, retreat, explode this way. And just getting them to understand certain little details, man, that can take their game from here to here.
Right.
And that's always the objective, and let them know that, look, man, I don't know everything. And if you ever come across somebody who say they do, you need to find another trainer. Because you always can learn something.
I agree.
And so that's been my philosophy from day one. And then I study and I look and I try to find what works. Because what works for you, you may have to alter. It don't necessarily work for them. I don't think that there's a cookie-cutter approach to shooting. Some people, man, back in the day, Jamal Wilkes, he'll light it up. Vinnie Johnson.
Right.
That's his. You don't go and change that. You just say, oh, hey, Vinnie, I see something. I see how you can get that thing off quicker. I see how you can pull it. You can pull it from there. You can find different ways to be more versatile. But keep what you got. Rashard Lewis.
Yeah. Three-headed monster. Shout out Rashard.
That's his shot. You don't no, man. Let's find a way to add something to it. Stick to it. It works for you. Some people come in and they want to change everything. No, if it works, let's just try to enhance it.
Man, it's so funny because I was going to ask you about that. Like, what have you learned from some guys? Like, sometimes I'll work with guys, and even though I'm teaching them something, they may do something. I'm like, oh, wait, hold up, do that again.
Man, I'm always learning. I'm always learning, man. I mean, you got a lot of guys with a great, they have just great fast twitch muscles, but I'm always learning. Even, man, I watch little children. And sometimes the learning is not so much what you like, okay, I've seen that move, but man, the way he did it, it'll trigger a thought in your head like, wow. Because I'm always thinking, how can I take what I see and add to it? How can I tweak it? What can I put before and after that move or, add to that move? So I'm constantly watching, man, what people are doing and looking at the details. Tricking people with your eyes and your head movement, where the ball goes. But I'd have to be on the court, but I'm always learning something. Always. Even a lot of things they do now. Some things we would classify as traveling back in the day.
Right.
But I'm like, okay, if that's what they're doing, we learn it. We do it. Even in the NBA, a lot of times you hear and you'll take that move and this would come up before you dribble.
Right.
Right. Let a lot of guys get away with it. I said, we're gonna do that, but let's learn it the right way so you can. If the referee, you get one of those referees that call it, you can be just as explosive doing it the right way.
Right.
So we try to teach. If that's what they're allowing, we learn it, but also know really what. Because some people they'll call that.
Right.
They still let
So going back to watching some of your old footage, right? You were really impressive shooting off the dribble, from the three, off the pick and roll, no screen. You had this pump fake that everybody used to go for. Just break down. How were you able to knock down threes off the dribble, off the pick and roll, and just be so efficient?
You know what, man? By the grace and mercy of God, I just my imagination when I was young, even when I trained by myself, I always imagined 2-3 people playing against me, and they were when I dribbled and shot, they were always this close. So I'm trying to escape, trying to escape my imagination and get the ball off quick, and I'm always envisioning they're right there. And even when I'm going up sometimes for layup, I'm envisioning they're riding me, and literally I'm tense. And the more I did that, I would then go out and you play the 21s. I played a lot of one-on-one too with guys on my team, and I always try to find guys, not that I can dominate easy, even though a lot of them I ended up beating, but convincingly, but my point is they fought. Mostly all these scratches is back in the day one-on-one, because that's how you really develop. And so doing those things, having that imagination, going out, having guys to play you that's going to challenge you, just the consistency of that, and then doing it game speed. When you play, you're going at this dude. Because if he don't want to play, you're going to embarrass him, or he's going to get so ticked off that, man, look, you ain't gonna do me like that.
Right.
And they're gonna come at you. So constantly doing that day in and day out, you begin not to, for the most part, no matter what size dude this is, looking at where his hands are, his feet is, distracting people, seeing him dip, you feel so confident, I can get that shot up before you get your hand up, and I don't even see that no more. All I see is that target. That confidence comes, but it's going through all of that with that imagination, with that person, but also game speed.
Right.
Because it's easy to go from game speed and slow your game down and be effective than going through the motion. Now you got somebody pressuring you from one end to the next, ride you. Now you got to pull up, and you ain't used to pulling up against it. It's almost impossible that you're going to be able to make that transition. So plan just like you're going to play in the game. And that doesn't mean one speed. Mm-hmm. Game speed means, even if I'm sitting you up, pow, when I pow, change the direction, change the speed, but everything is methodical. It's with a purpose to execute.
Right.
And just over and over. And that's what eventually does it.
So, in your day, it's safe to say that you were a scoring point guard. You could set people up, right? Yeah. But you were a scoring point guard in a day where you had dominant big men and different things.
Yeah, just like Isaiah was a scoring.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of But
they weren't all on every team.
Yeah.
So today's game, you got your Damian Lillards, got your Steph Currys, your Trae Youngs.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them have a little bit of you in them. Can you talk about some of the young guys in the league right now that are putting in work, and what do you recognize from those guys?
Man, their skill level, their tenacity, their heart, their courage, their dog. You know what I mean? I love watching Trae Young. I love Damian Lillard.
Oh,
he just look, and Damon, I tell people, man, they'll look, and I love Kyrie, I love Chris, I love Steph. I just love skillful people, man. Mm-hmm. And I love to watch them. But sometimes people get caught up in, Kyrie is better than Damon, or, Kyrie has a handle out of this world. But my argument is I wouldn't necessarily say better, I just say different. Because Kyrie, Harden, dance with it. But I say I can have an argument. That maybe there's an argument that if you want to, and I'm not saying this is the case, I'm just being argumentative here. Is it better to take more dribbles to get your shot or less? Damon don't take a lot of dribbles. He'll come down, bam! You have more longevity, less injuries. Or if you pop, if I got to fake a guy out 3-4 times, one of them fakes is going to get you, or you're going to get tired of playing defense. So, but my point is, it's not that one is just they got different styles. So me, man, these guys, man, those guys can hit the 3, they can hit the 2, they can finish to the rack. I mean, they can get their ball off the dribble, off screens. Mm-hmm. That's what I love to see. Yeah. And they do it. This is another thing. When you practice and train enough, it should look easy. Mm-hmm. And they make it look easy.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And that shows you they've been putting in that work.
For sure. And that's why I brought them up, because I know you would appreciate that. You can see it in their games. And another thing, like the importance of how they take care of their bodies and nutrition. Like I said earlier in the interview, you look like you're in great shape. You can still go. You can play on the team right now, in my opinion.
I appreciate it.
But when I work with a lot of the younger kids, and you see they want to do all the moves that those guys are doing, but they're not necessarily putting in the time in their body or eating the wrong things, different things like that. How important is that, do you think, to actually do a move, a Euro step, a crossover, a side step, when you don't have the balance or the leg strength to maintain your balance? Like, talk about how important the body is to the skill development.
I mean, it's just as important. The mind, the body, your lifestyle, not just eating. It's the mental. It's mental imagery, envisioning things. It's proper sleep. It's also surrounding yourself with people that share your vision. They've done studies that if you want if you're out of shape and you want to lose weight, hang around with somebody that's in shape. If you're not smart, hang around smart people. Why? Because that person is smart for a reason. They have a lifestyle. They have a pattern of doing things. They involve themselves in certain conversations. If I'm trying to be an NBA player and I'm hanging around with a biogeneticist or chemist or whatever, and they're spending so much time studying, and I'm trying to be a professional, I'm not going to be great at what I do, and he's not going to be great at what he do if he's hanging around me. So it's not that we can't coexist and talk, but you got to surround yourself around people that, you know, so, and with that comes a lifestyle, right? The way they eat, the way they sleep, you know, sacrificing certain things, going places. It's very important because everything has a foundation. You know, you don't start a house you don't build a house starting with the ceiling. So the foundation is you got to take care of, one, you got to make the decision that this is what you want. Then you got to formulate a strategy, you know, that I need to develop certain skills to get there. So that means you got to take care of your body, you got to envision, you got to eat right. You know, you got to get your rest. Man, you can't be truly effective. You know, you can be good, but you're not going to be great. And if you are great, you have guys that are super talented, just genetically. They're gifted, but because they don't do, and I've seen it, you've seen it, because they don't do those, just like with anything, contracts and relationships, they say it's in the details. Right? You got to look. So when they don't pay attention to those details, they end up fading away. The people that don't have as much as them, they're out there and they're paying attention. You see them, just like you said, you had a dude. He wasn't on the roster. He came here 6 months. Bop, bop, bop. He put the work in, and look at what happened. Now, you got guys that's probably more talented, more named than him, but ain't doing what he's doing. So, man, you got to have that, and it's got to be a lifestyle. And the fundamentals are always the building blocks to elevating your game, to doing the fancy stuff, to getting stronger. And sometimes, unfortunately, people, they miss those. You know, they miss those parts. Like, miss parts in the car, it ain't gonna run the same. Right, facts. Big facts. Big facts. Yeah.
Big facts. So, I wanted to also ask you, you shot over 90% from the free throw line multiple times.
Yeah.
Break that down. How were you able to do that? What kind of regiment, what kind of routine, how many reps? I know you probably can't count.
No, yeah, I can't count.
But, you know, do you see some guys struggle from the free throw line? What kind of advice you give to people that are struggling from the free throw line, handling pressure, the crowd?
Yeah. Again, same thing I was mentioning about playing, game speed, and envisioning things. They have to do the same thing with free throws. And you have to keep shooting them with, and for some people it's hard, but you have to envision what that scene looks like. You have to envision being an opponent in a visiting team's gym. You have to envision people talking about you. You have to envision you not feeling like, you know, it's easy to sit up, pop, 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 but sometimes dribble with your left, change your routine, and still see if you can stay focused. Shoot this way. It's odd. It's crazy. And then come back, then change your rhythm. Sometimes 1, 2, 3. Because sometimes you get up there, you don't feel good, and you want to make those situations uncomfortable. You want to stick to your pattern, but then sometimes you change it, right? And then if you can do all of that and still connect while you're envisioning, and then sometimes you want to do a rhythm. If you do 5 this way, you want to stop, time out. When I'm training people, so you got 10 in a row. And they'll get to like 9, time out. Now wait, I give it to them. Let's talk about time out. I'm trying to disrupt the rhythm. And I tell them, I say, always stay in rhythm. Because sometimes in a game, you may come down, hit 3, 4 in a row, you may get it. But you may not get it another 3 times. You may get it that 4th time. And you always want to stay in rhythm and be envisioning that. And that helps, that helps, you know, because sometimes it's easy for people to get out of rhythm on a free throw line, jump shots, dribbling, what have you. And so I would do stuff like that to where you put them in all these different scenarios, to where all of those, what started off being uncomfortable now is comfortable. Man, shoot, I'm used to this. And then I'll roll it to them, make them bend down and get it. I'll throw it up high, and a lot of them miss that last one. I say, start back at 0. And now they got to focus. Now you got to deal with not rushing. Because they want to rush now because they've been there.
Over with.
And now they thinking about it. So I'm putting them through all of those scenarios. And then sometimes I'll say these last 3, like with Emmanuel Quickly and Dennis Smith, I'll say these last 2 or 3 got to be all draws. Meaning not straight. Straight is it could hit the rim, but it go in. Last 2 in a row or 3 got to be all net. And so I say, but if you miss on your way to all net, if you make it, you still safe. But if you miss on your way to all net, you go back to 0. So now it's like precision. So all of that stuff enhances it. And then coach, my high school coach used to have a drill that after, before practice, he would have us shooting. If we had 2 in a row when it was time to practice, we kept shooting until we missed. And there was numerous occasions while they'll be on the floor and I'm still shooting. I had like over 100, I don't know how many times. Jeez. But I got the record in high school of 286. And they had to stop practice probably more than a few times because I wouldn't miss until practice, almost over 6 age. Trigger. And then he just started, you know what, we're going to still practice. And he's just going to come if he's finished. And those things also help.
Awesome.
Yeah, those help.
Yeah. I appreciate it. So, in case you guys forgot, my man is still hooping right now. Big 3, coming back.
Looking forward to it.
3-headed monsters. Let's talk about the history with the Big 3 with you, and how excited are you for another season and what you ready for, man?
Man, look, I was blessed just to be a part of it. I went down. I remember going to Las Vegas for the trial. Man, there was so many people up in there. And I was confident, I was in shape. I felt good about my situation. And if it wasn't for this guy right here, CJ.
Shout out to CJ.
Yeah. Look,
CJ Asper.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been there. He made a power move, sitting with Rashard and them. Say, hey man, hold on, this don't make. Y'all need to. And they chose me. And then the ball just ended up, moving in my favor. And I had some great games But man, I love it. I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to play, that they given me that opportunity, being the oldest guy out there, legitimately playing, and I'm a competitor, So I live to compete, So when I see younger guys, I'm like, I know you have youth on your side, and I still feel I have a huge level of quickness and strength left. And for me, it's just being competitive, like wanting to see what I'm capable of doing and we're capable of doing at this age. And I always joke with them. I say, I said, if we're playing and I have 20 and you have, 20, 22, I said, you look bad. I said, if I have 20 and you have 15, you look bad. I said, now, if you have 25 and I have 10, I said, they just going to say the man is 52 years old. I said, so you got everything to lose. So, you put that way like, man, I got to go at this dude.
Right.
But I'm just looking forward to it, man. We got great teammates, Rashard, man, Reggie Evans. These are, man, look, man, these are professionals, man. They work hard. They want to win. And, man, I'm just anxious to see who the new additions we're going to have, because every year has been somebody else. I'm anxious to see about the coaching, who it's going to be. And man, we've been so close.
Right. Every year. Man,
we've been so close, man. And I'm hopeful everybody have a great year. Of course, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But I'm hopeful that I'm going to have a great year, our team, and everybody else going to have an injury-free year. But I really want to win it. On top of having a great year, I really want to win it, man. That'll be the icing.
So far, what is your greatest memory within the Big 3 that you've had? Maybe a game or a moment so far?
Man, there's a lot of them, man. I mean those game winners. Those close games. The one in, I think, Oakland. Yeah. And the one, I can't remember all of them. CJ knows, but man, those were those are beautiful moments. You know, you feel yourself getting into a rhythm.
Yeah.
And the team is playing well, and winning them.
Yeah.
You know, winning those games. And just being at this age, man, really just every single doggone game I played, being at this age, being able to compete and hang with guys. And that's another thing I joke with them about. I say, you know, if I'm hanging with you at 52 and I got you about 5, 10, 15 years, imagine how quick I was at 20 and 25.
Right. I mean,
you know, so it's just fun, man.
YouTube this man, please. I mean, you talk about a bucket getter, like what we seeing now out of these guys in the NBA. You know, the guys that can shoot it from deep. That's what he was doing. He opened the door. You know, opened the imagination.
Just like those before me.
Yes, sir.
Inspired me. Every prior generation, man, inspires you. Like, wow, I love. But what they do is what I think about doing. How can I take what Isaiah does? How can I take what these guys do and try to make it mine and be remembered? And you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's beautiful. Every prior generation inspires the ones coming after it. And I've been tremendously, majorly inspired. And even those guys inspire me now at 52, man. When I watch them, so I'm so compelled. I'm like, man, I want, outside of dunking, the only thing I want to dunk is some cookies and milk or something. but outside of that, man, seriously, I'm like, man, I'm looking, and I'm competitive. I'm like, shoot, man, I can do that. Or I want to do that. Or I want to have that type of body. Mm-hmm. I want to, you know, I mean, that's just the way I am. Mm-hmm. And, you know, even when I train, man, I don't, like a partner of mine, you know, we have this saying that, man, it's like I don't know how to train myself other than to try to be great. So I don't know how to train anybody else. Like I can't train you to be an elementary player. If I'm training you and you're an elementary player, I'm trying to train you to be great. Right. Like, you know what I mean, an NBA player, a great one. So I don't know how to train other than how to, you know, not how to be great. So, yeah, I'm just inspired, man.
I appreciate it. Last few questions I got, kind of like fill in the blank. B&O's is buckets and breakdowns. Okay, so first question is, what's the best go-to move of all time? And you only got two options: fadeaway, sky hook.
Oh my goodness! Look, man. A lot of people might not think it's pretty, but okay, you talking about individually, or you talking about what most people are doing?
No.
Most people are not doing sky hooks. But, man, the sky hook, man, nobody could stop that sky hook.
You're going to go to... And there's no wrong answer.
Yeah, nobody can stop the sky hook. But, now, I've seen, you know what I mean? I don't think Kareem has ever had his sky hook blocked. But I've seen fadeaways blocked.
Right.
So I'm going to have to go with, even though it may not be popular, and a lot of people aren't doing it, that sky hook couldn't be stopped. Yeah.
Sky hook it is. Next question.
I know people ain't gonna go and try to work on their sky hook, but
hey,
the sky hook.
I gotta ask. I gotta ask because I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
So next question. Finishing around the basket, Euro step or floater? Which one is?
See, all of those are situational.
They're situational. But which ones do you think is like, you know, maybe more effective or more something that you would use, or you feel like, hey, I mean, you got to have both.
Yeah.
But over the years, which one's more lethal?
Okay, all of this is situational, man. All this is. I got to put that disclaimer out there. But me personally, if I feel I've got you beat already, I'm not. If I feel I've been a player all my life, I'm confident in my shot. I think. I'm as confident in my shot as making a layup. So, if I got you beat and I see you right there and there's space here, I'm not going to try to take another dribble. I don't want to rely on referees to call it. Mm-hmm. If I got you beat and I see you coming, I'm getting that thing off. I'm going to do a floater. I'm going to do a floater. And then I got more longevity. I got less distance to travel, which is less distance, more longevity, less stress on my body. I'm going to make it as easy as I can.
Floater. Next question. Snatch dribble or sidestep?
There's no right or wrong answer. Y'all listen, man, there's no right or wrong answer. It's situational. But man, when you see Kimber, pop, man, and when you sell it, when you
right.
and you like you dribble and you like you going, oh man, that's hard to. And then when you pop out, especially if you do a James Harden like boom, boom, boom.
Because I saw you working on it a little bit earlier, that side step.
Oh man,
they're all effective.
They all effective, man. You say which one
is more lethal? Let's just put it that way. Which one is more lethal?
Neither. Both of them. On all of it. But if I have, because we're doing this exercise and I'm forced to give you an answer for the sake of this entertainment. I see more people doing the side step and getting their shot off. I see it, but I think what's his name is like.
James.
Well, no, I think like in terms of side step, but I think Kimball, right?
Yeah.
I think he kind of mastered that snatch back, but more people, and they get the shot off. So if we're looking at the majority, I would say the side step.
Okay, side step it is. Last question. We're going to wrap it from here.
All right, I'm going to answer this one quick.
All right, who brought the best out of you? It could be a teammate, could be an opponent, could be a coach. Who is one person that probably brought the best out of you?
Starvation. And my mother, wanting to see her out, wanting to get her out the ghetto.
There you go.
That was it. Just not wanting to be poor and just wanting to see my mother, have a better life, being able to help people. Now, in terms of on the court, there were numerous, but I had real strong battles, man, with Rod Strickland. Yeah, I mean, we went at each other, and we had good performances.
Great.
We had good performances against each other, but he was just like, he had that hesitation. And he was explosive, that change of direction.
Right.
I mean, you couldn't take your eyes off of it, man. So he was a tough one.
I wish I had a ticket.
Especially that one-on-one. Yeah.
For sure. Well, I appreciate your time.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, man.
Joining us on Buckets and Breakdowns, Mahmoud
Always a pleasure.
Abdul-Rauf.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Look out for him on the Big Three. He's training some of your favorite players. Y'all got to get at him, man. How can people access you?
Oh, man, they can access me on Instagram. Mahmoud AR123.
Yep.
That's pretty much, and I respond.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I respond to them if they reach out to me.
Appreciate y'all.
Likewise.
Buckets and Breakdowns. It's a wrap. See you later. Next time. Yeah.